This week on Another Brother.
I thought we played bocce.
Oh, no. Is that the one where you have balls and then there's a ball and you try to...
All the balls.
Yes.
I remember the first time I played with your grandma, I thought I was getting stopped by the Gestapo. It was like...
Obviously, they're not going to have a chance right now. Only in a decade, once Putin is not only dethroned, but also dead.
Whoa.
You heard it here first on Another Brother.
Brother over there, brother everywhere. Another brother.
All right.
I can't get it out. Just go. Oh, we're going already.
That'll leave it ambiguous about whether it was a burp or...
Josh isn't with us this week. We've got Liz and Jared with us in his place. We're going to talk about, well, for three of us here, what is a shared, probably, pool of favorite family gathering type games that we play as Stewarts. But if there are any from Jared's family, we're probably, I am very interested to hear about those because we like games. So we play a lot of card games in the family.
Yeah.
We were just on vacation.
Yeah, so this is fitting.
And played a lot of card games.
Probably like a third of the time we were playing.
But I remember a game that I bet you guys don't. You probably never saw it, Liz. I would be very surprised if you have any memories of it. I don't even remember how it worked entirely. I've tried really hard to remember all the rules. I think it was called Animal Noises or Animal Sounds or Barnyard Animals.
And this
something
was
like that.
something we played as a family at gatherings, vacations.
The last time I played it was when Grandma and Grandpa Stewart lived in Lincoln City.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you even have memories of Lincoln City?
Yeah. Yes.
Grandma and Grandpa's house at Lincoln City? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Plenty, actually.
Well, the gist of this game was everybody sat in a circle. Everybody had some kind of animal.
Newspaper whack.
Yes. And you smack someone with a newspaper, a roll of newspaper, and you're blindfolded.
Sounds like a grandpa game.
Okay.
Oh, I remember now.
It does sound like a grandpa game.
Someone makes the noise really quick. Anybody can make the noise. Someone makes it really quick. And you have to blindfoldedly smack them with a newspaper.
Sounds like a Stewart game.
So normally someone behind you will make the noise. And if you get whacked, then you have to be the new blindfolded person trying to smack other people.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That was really fun.
I could only imagine the ants playing.
Yeah.
That would get really violent.
There was a lot of cackling. It was so much fun, though. It was so chaotic and loud. And
not to steer off too far. Just a quick tangent. There's another game. I don't know if you've seen it. Go around the socials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it went viral. Okay. Group of people standing next to each other. One person from them facing the same direction as them. So his back is to them. Wearing a helmet. One person just randomly smacks him on the head with the helmet on. And they turn around and try to point who it was.
I see.
So similar premise. So
Yeah,
that's interesting.
that's
Super
what I
similar,
thought of immediately.
Yeah.
I tried looking for the rules of the game to see if anyone else had this game online anywhere. Couldn't find it anywhere. The closest thing was a very non-violent version. It's like an icebreaker game for youth groups where everybody is given they write down a bunch of animals on two. Oh boy. Why is this so hard to say? They write down the name of an animal twice. And they just do a bunch of different animals, tear them up into little individual animal pieces of paper. And everybody draws an animal. And then you start making the noise that animal makes as you try to find the person that matches you. And it's like this youth camp icebreaker.
I hope they call it Noah's Ark.
No, no. Even though the first place I saw it was like a Catholic youth group website.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did not. That's...
Missed
wow,
opportunity.
That's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck were they thinking?
We have a marketing opportunity.
We have this I don't know from where, but this game does. It is familiar. Obviously, I remembered the newspaper.
Right.
But I don't have any memories of actually playing it.
Bummer.
I know I've heard of it.
I have no.
Yeah, you probably weren't alive at that point in
Yeah,
time.
I don't know if I was alive when they were at Lincoln City. Maybe. I mean, I think Mom has said like, no, I was alive, but I was like 2 or something when they moved to Arizona or wherever next.
Yeah. Lake Havasu? Wherever that is.
Yeah, in Arizona. Yeah, it sounds like a game we need to bring back.
Yeah.
I think the nieces and nephews.
I'm really
Actually,
sad we
yeah.
didn't do this episode before the trip. Then could have done it.
Yeah.
Oh man, they'd go crazy.
Maybe a little too crazy. But it would be fun
Yeah.
for a little while.
That's the idea.
Until someone started crying.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite games, it's been forever since we've played it. Catchphrase.
Yeah.
Mm.
I loved playing catchphrase growing up.
Yeah. Dad had it out, and I was like, I'm too stupid right now. It's too late.
Oh.
Didn't we play like last
See.
year though?
I don't remember.
Yeah. And Dad was throwing a fit because we weren't doing male-female teams.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I was there.
What?
You guys might not have been there at that
I
point in
guess
time. You
not.
might have gone home or something. Or we were doing it for Christmas, and you happened to be at the other
Oh,
family.
I think it was
that
Christmas
could have
time.
been it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess then, yeah, to you, we haven't played in a while.
Yeah.
That's the one where you
Wow.
pass around the blue thing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's got a word.
Yeah, you have to have the actual device
Mhm.
to play the game.
I really liked watching Mom and Dad and their friends on New Year's Eve
Mhm.
play that.
Mhm.
That was fun. Seeing the people in the ward that usually are, calm at church. But I mean, we obviously knew that they're not always like that, but that was always fun.
But how many other people knew? That was the fun part.
Yeah, we used to play a lot of those kinds of party games.
Yeah.
With the aunts and uncles, and then with moms and dads' friends. And then just over time, it evolved into just card games, I
Mhm.
feel like.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is also okay, but I actually miss those other games.
Those definite party games.
Yeah.
Mad Libs.
Uh-huh.
No,
Password.
not Mad Libs. What is it called? Mad
Oh,
Libs?
password.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mad Gabs.
Mad
Oh,
Gabs.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Balderdash.
Balderdash.
Never played that one.
Oh,
I wasn't
Yeah.
very good at the actual rules because I was like 12 last time I played it, but yeah, it was fun.
Well, does Telestrations count as a party game?
yeah.
Because that's my favorite.
I'd say so.
That's my favorite.
Really?
With our,
Well, she's
one
the
of my
who
favorites for sure.
had
Yeah.
us play.
Yeah.
Right.
It's my favorite with our family and Jared's family. Because it's always hilarious.
Hmm.
Because there's always at least one, but usually several people that suck at drawing and weird things come up and it's real funny.
Especially animals.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Animals
always.
get bad real quick.
Yeah.
You mean like the cat copter?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, moose. The moose.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad. Had to go there. I don't know. I did actually kind of agree with Dad over this last weekend. It was a little more boring than usual.
Yeah.
We were too good at it.
I don't.
That's
Almost-
fair, I guess.
I don't love that game. Even
Oh,
when
I do. I actually really quite enjoy it, but too many of them made it through to the end as the
true.
original word.
Yeah. Right.
We've had that happen a few times in my family, and what we always do to try to shake it up is 2 things. One, we try to make the time shorter so that
Mhm,
the
you have to
drawings get
scribble.
crappier.
Right.
And then the second thing we do is that we just get rid of prompts.
Yeah.
So
You
you
just come up with
make
whatever-
stuff up and you try to make things that are going to be misunderstood.
Mm.
So like,
Or that are really obscure.
yeah,
For those that don't know, Telestrations is a game where you have a starting phrase and then
Or
someone
word,
or word
Usually thing.
something. Then the first person draws it and then passes that drawing on around the circle. And then you get a drawing and you have to interpret that drawing into words, not knowing what the original phrase is. You keep going back and forth between drawing and writing and drawing and writing until you have, hopefully, a ridiculous mess at the end.
It's like
Mhm.
telephone for drawing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
We should have played with the kids too.
Yeah, Henry's
That
going to
would've
be
Oh.
sad when he listens to this and find out that we did play without them.
Oops.
Because Henry loves Telestration.
Oh, does he?
We'll
He
play
loves
Henry.
it.
We'll play next family gathering.
so the podcast reveals truths better kept hidden.
Remember, Henry, hold your aunt to that. She promised you.
Sucker.
I'm fine with playing.
One of my new favorites, now that I actually own a set, is Cube. That's a
Still
surprisingly
playing it.
fun game. Viking chess that is nothing like
I
chess
tried
whatsoever.
explaining it to Jared, but I don't actually know. So
Yeah, Viking chess brings up a bunch of different ideas in my head that
Yeah.
are nothing like what it actually is.
Probably not actually a good descriptor for
Doesn't
it.
seem like it, no. Whenever I
Okay.
hear someone call it that, I always picture someone throwing an axe at those wood blocks instead of a piece of wood.
Viking this!
But we haven't really played it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Dad still hasn't played it yet.
I thought he.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
I guess it's
Oh, but that just reminds me of another one. That ring ball that we've had for ages.
yeah.
Yes.
That is surprisingly fun.
It's like horseshoe, but made for the sand. So you don't drive a stake into the ground. You just have a ball that you...
Like horseshoe bocce.
Yes. Yeah. Have you played bocce ball, Liz?
Uh-uh.
I didn't think
I
so.
thought we played bocce.
Oh
at my
no, is that the
place.
one where
Yeah.
you have balls and then there's a ball and you
Yeah.
try to? Yeah.
All the balls.
Yes.
You throw the colored balls at the white ball.
In this game, there's only one ball, and you throw rings at it.
Yeah, well, I know that one.
I have to. I can't help it because I speak Italian. I have to say something. It's not bocce. It's bocce because
Oh.
bocce means kisses. That's a different
Aw.
game.
Oh boy. Moving right along.
Okay.
Sure, there's great missionary stories with that game.
No, it's not a real game. It's
Uh,
actually a dessert and it's delicious.
chocolate kisses.
Chocolate and hazelnut cookies
Chocolate hazelnut kisses.
with chocolate between them.
Mm.
Yum.
I did it again. Got food into the conversation
Always.
on accident.
Do we have a podcast bingo card?
Dang, that would be good.
You can design
Oh.
it. Put a free
As a t-shirt.
printable PDF up. Oh, as a t-shirt.
That would be a good
Yes.
t-shirt.
As a t-shirt.
Well, so Alex mentioned how much we love
Card
games in
games.
our family, card
Yeah.
games specifically. Our grandpa worked at a casino for a little while in Oregon.
And grandma. They both
Sorry. Grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
And they would come home with decks that the casino had used.
So
So
many
if you ever
decks.
see
Mhm.
just a regular face card decks with a hole drilled into it, that means it was a casino deck and they drilled a hole into it to,
Signify they've been used.
yes, deface isn't the right word, to show it's been used so it doesn't go back into circulation.
decertify.
Yeah. Because, you know, they
Decommission. That's the word. Decommission the deck.
decommission it. And so grandma and grandpa would always have these decommissioned casino decks. And grandpa was a card shark.
Hmm.
Grandma was too. And they just had all kinds of card games that they would, whenever we would go
Game
over to their
stories.
houses, we would just play card games. Like
Yep.
that's what you did
Yeah.
after dinner in the evening. Just so much fun.
Mm-hmm. I think 9-card no peak is probably my favorite.
Probably all of ours. That was
I used to get really ritualistic about it. Like I had
these
to,
ones.
like
You-
as I got
yeah.
yes, I
You place
always
them in
only
this
flip
order.
those 2 cards over. Whenever I would set them out in a specific way as I got each card. I would do like the top 2 corners, starting with the left one, then the middle,
Uh-huh.
then the bottom left, bottom right, and I'd diamond the last 4 cards around that.
I feel like that's a thing in the Stewart family because Pops play tons of card games too, but
Different.
we never get on people for how they shuffle, for,
Oh, yeah.
for
Well-
who's going first. Like,
I mean,
I remember the first time I played with your grandma, I thought I was getting stopped by the Gestapo. It was like,
Aunt Vicky too. Yeah.
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 I guess it's probably because of the casino
Yeah.
stuff.
I was going to say that's, yeah.
Yeah, it
And-
drives me crazy playing with Jared's family and the same person shuffles the whole time and it's all haphazard and it drives me
Same
nuts.
person shuffles the How dare you deal after me again and again. Yeah, that's also just the Stewart competitiveness.
Yeah.
But to Jared's point, playing card games with Heather's family, like when we would first start playing card games, you know, if you're a Stewart, when you draw a card off the deck, you take it and you slide it down on the table all the way to the edge and you flip it up in front of your face so you know no one had a chance to see the bottom of the card. I got made fun of. They definitely made fun of the way I drew cards.
What?
That's just how you play cards. Jeez.
That's how you play cards too competitively.
Well,
Or paranoid.
okay, I guess. If you want to
Well,
win, though.
But, so maybe this is partially why. Heather says if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So
What? That's also not allowed.
She actively looks if your cards are facing.
Then why would you make fun of someone for doing that? What the heck? They're preventing you cheating.
I was going to say they're trying to pressure you out of it so that they can look at your cards.
Gaslighting.
Boo.
No, they've gotten used to me and my idiosyncrasies, which are family idiosyncrasies, as we're finding out.
I just had a memory. We used to play a lot of Sorry at home.
Yeah.
We sure did.
That was my favorite game as
Yes,
a
it
kid.
I
was,
know.
Lizzie.
I'd ask all the time.
That's all
used to
you
love it
wanted to
too.
play.
Yeah, I loved it. I don't know why. It was just so brutal. Sorry. You go back.
Well, now Grandma passed. I don't know how long it's been now.
Ever since we got married, basically.
Yeah, I think it was like COVID. Grandma and the aunts play Aggravation, which is the original Sorry.
Oh, that board shape. Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But it's way more brutal, and there's a little more tact, I guess. You can kind of
it's
have.
somewhere between Sorry and like Chinese checkers, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
What?
You can be much meaner in Aggravation.
Yeah, and if you're not mean, if you purposely like, oh, but I want to let you keep your peace, Grandma gets really angry at you. You gotta play the game.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I got chastised.
Gets aggravated.
But then also when you take her piece out, she's aggravated.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Do you like Sorry or Aggravation better?
Well, I mean, Sorry has more of the nostalgia, but Aggravation's funny. So,
With them.
yeah, especially Grandma and
Yeah.
Dad. Yeah. Yeah, so that's fun. And I do miss playing games, card games specifically with Grandma and Grandpa, but especially Grandpa. I
He
miss
always
playing.
won, though.
It's true.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I miss playing sets and runs and him saying, I've got the runs.
You're gross.
Yeah, it's one thing for Grandpa to say. It's a whole other thing for you to miss him saying that.
That'd be one really bad out of context. I really miss when Grandma talked about the runs.
It's funny.
I forgot straights and runs. That was a fun one.
Sets and runs.
Sets. Oh, gosh. Sets and runs.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one. Talking about Grandma getting upset when you didn't take someone's piece. Is that what you said?
Mm.
Again, how competitive Stewarts are. And I know we're not the only family like this. There are plenty of families this stupidly overly competitive over just
Everything.
table games that don't mean anything. But again, to show the contrast, Heather's grandpa, when you play Uno with them, if he gets a skip card, he'll nicely put in discard pile and say, skip no one. And he's grandpa. So that's it. You can't tell grandpa what to do. If grandpa's not going to skip someone, grandpa's not going to skip someone.
That's cute.
I do have a POF family game. I'm curious if any of you have some version, because I've heard of versions of this, but my family's felt particularly brutal. And it's a game that you just play. It's a game for small kids.
Okay.
And so it's called Who's Gonna Get It? Very simple game that my dad always had us play, I think to get our wiggles out. But he would just take something. It could be anything. It could be a ball. It could be a block. It could be anything. And he would just take it and he'd gather all the kids around, like usually anyone under 10. And he would just say, everyone see this? The winner is the one who brings this back to me. Who's going to get it? And he just checks it and there's no rules. And it was vicious because what would happen is that when you first started playing it, everyone just Hunger Games it. Everyone just runs into a giant pile and injury and madness ensues. But eventually strategy started forming where he'd throw it and the newbie would run for it and everyone else would just wait. and then gang up on them,
Oh.
beat them up until they got it.
Right. It's not the first to get it, it's the first to bring it back.
Right.
hmm And so Dad would stay stationary. He would try to throw it pretty far so that there's plenty of battlefield to enact our violence upon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was brutal. And I remember several times you would be like in the middle of a pile of 6 kids and you're like barely reaching out. And
Is
you're
this
trying
with like
to...
cousins?
Mhm.
Oh.
And you're like trying to get to Dad, but Dad's thing is that he's not moving.
Yeah.
So if you're reaching out your hand and he's right there, but he can't like reach it naturally, he's not going to help you. He's just going to watch. And surprisingly little major injuries happened because of this game. I thought there would be more because there was a lot of kicking and pulling clothes and punching and tackling, but no, it was fun. And it's only 10 and below because when you include the older kids, it
Then
could
it's
get
carnage.
pretty, yeah. But that was a Poff family staple. Any
Never
Yeah.
heard of such a
No.
thing.
Yeah.
Was there a prize to incentivize participation, or was it just pride?
that was just pride
Yeah, okay.
because it was hard to win that game. Like
That's
it was
awesome.
very hard, especially the larger the group.
Yeah.
And my dad always said that he wished that he could play this with professional football players and just see what happens.
That would be fun.
Because it's essentially football. You're trying to move a ball
Right.
to a designated location,
Rugby.
and
More
there's
like
tackling involved.
Mhm.
It's just there's no rules. And there's no offense, defense, there's no
mean,
teams.
You have to imagine that's where rugby and American football eventually came from.
Dads just
Something like that.
But it seriously tired you out like nothing else. So its purpose of tiring us out always worked. If you did it right before bed, we were out.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Can't wait for your dad to do that with grandkids. When there's enough and they're
Yeah.
big enough.
Funnily enough, the Poff children are pretty shy and docile compared to the Stewart children right now. I feel like this game would go over better with the Stewart
Well,
children.
sure, compared.
Yeah.
They're still kids. I've heard them scream and run around plenty.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm. I
But
think
also, families older than yours.
it's tricky right now because if Caden gets any older, then he ages out.
It's too late.
But the other kids are a little too small still to really compete with his
With Caden.
size.
Yeah.
So that would be tricky.
I mean, he's a month away from aging out already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes my dad would make the oldest kid be the thrower.
Mm.
And so
Like
he
rub it
keeps
in
them
more.
involved,
Right.
Yeah.
but he keeps them out of the dog pile, and the carnage.
I think the closest thing we had to that was just like Monkey in the Middle.
Mm.
We played that somewhat at our other grandma's house, Grandma Robus. And
Do you remember Slug Wars?
oh yeah, not exactly a family gathering.
No.
Kind of the opposite of a family gathering.
So that's one of the memories I have from Lincoln City. We played that
Really?
in Grandma and Grandpa's.
We slept
In
in
the
sleeping
basement.
bags in Grandma and Grandpa's.
Yeah.
Huh.
Slug Wars. You
Oh yeah.
you crawl to the end of your sleeping bag, head
In the
at
cinder
the
block
foot,
basement.
Oh,
and then you just wrestle.
Yeah.
Can't see anything, and there's
Okay.
no end. There's no winning. You just
It's
I-
go
just,
at it.
it's just a war of slugs.
I remember watching this.
That was
It's definitely too little to play, but I remember that was a weird
that was fun.
memory
so
moment
fun.
right then. Did you do that at Sun River ever?
Probably
Because that's
we
what
would
I'm.
have 3 families
Man, I
there.
kind of
Yeah.
want to play that right now. I love that game.
I feel like your head would get so sweaty
Oh,
being
yeah.
stuck in, like you'd take the
All of
sleeping bag
you.
off and everyone would look like they just stepped out of a sauna.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Take a break to cool off every now and then.
I definitely feel like I remember the Currys and that
I could totally
So-
see them.
Sun
Yeah.
River. Yeah.
Hey, kids. Do you know what time it is?
Okay, for those brothers who don't know yet, track and field and Russia,
Are the only things he cares about.
basically, my life has been reduced to those 2 things.
let's not forget Bigfoot. Sorry, I had to interject there.
And Bigfoot. That doesn't make me feel better. So today I've got some short stories from Russia. Instead of one big one, just 3 little snippets that I'm going to share with you guys.
This is you?
Me. Yeah. Not actual legitimate Russian author written short stories. My experiences. As a reminder for everyone out there, I was in Russia for 2 years, serving a church ecclesiastical mission. I was in the heart of Russia in Siberia. I lived in 3 different cities, Novosibirsk, Ulan-Ude, Irkutsk. I think Irkutsk is on the risk map, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
It's the old capital of Siberia. Novosibirsk is the new capital of Siberia. And I saw 7 other Siberian cities. So I got around. I saw quite a bit. I was pretty lucky to be able to see that many cities and travel that much because most missionaries don't travel that much. Okay, all these stories happened in my first 1 to 2 weeks of being in Russia. So I've been studying Russian in Utah for 3 months. Flew to Russia. I flew to Moscow with a couple other people, but then from Moscow to Novosibirsk, I was alone on this Russian plane.
That was probably already really weird feeling.
Yeah.
After just 3 weeks of being a missionary with a companion.
3 months.
Sorry, 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 months of having a companion with you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That probably felt weird.
So the first city I lived in was, again, Novosibirsk. It's the 3rd largest city in all of Russia. So it's 1.5 million people, middle of Siberia. It's the current capital of the federal okrug of Siberia. It's a big place. My mission companion and I were the first elders in this part of the city. So we had a brand new apartment. Missionaries hadn't been in that small part of the town yet, city. And so we just went up and down our podjezd. I forget.
Apartment complex?
Yeah.
Elevator?
It's like they have stairwells that go up and down the full apartment complex with, like 4 apartments off of each landing. And so you don't have access to the entire building, just that stairwell of apartments.
Okay.
Because you got to punch a code or have a magnet key to get into the podjezd.
So these are like long blocks of buildings
Yes.
that are all connected, but you really only get access to a small section of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So our first Sunday, I think it was. No, this was probably the second Sunday. We decided to go up and down our stairwell and knock doors, introduce ourselves, let them know that they've got Americans in the building who dress weird. Like, don't worry about us.
Classic Americans. We're here, everybody.
Acknowledge me.
Yeah. On the floor right below us, door opens up. We're greeted by this man who immediately invites us inside his apartment. His wife's in the kitchen pulling bread out of the oven.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, come, you have to eat. My wife just made bread. You have to eat this bread.
Nice.
And that's when we met Zafar.
Cool name.
Yeah. Zafar was from Uzbekistan. And he's a big reason why I would love to go to Uzbekistan someday. Central Asians are, man, they're just so inviting and warm and friendly.
And no one knows anything about Central Asia in the Western world,
Yeah.
I'd have to guess, but at least in America.
I know. It's crazy to me. So we stayed and we chatted a little bit, ate his wife's bread, which was so good. He invited us to his birthday dinner
Right there?
right then and there
Dang.
at his apartment. It was the next night. It was
What
Monday
the
night.
Nice.
Cool.
So Monday we had English club, which was, in our church building in the city. We invited whoever wanted to come, free discussions and basic lessons of English. So we stopped by his place right before then to say, hey, sorry, we've got to run. We've got this English club thing. Ran, came back, and it was like already late.
Yeah.
Missionaries have fairly strict rules. You have to be at home a certain time, in bed at a certain time. I think we got back to his place at like 8:40.
Mhm.
And you're supposed to be in your apartment by 9 o'clock. And he sits us down at one head of the table. He's sitting at the other head of the table. He's got some family members, but the entire table just full of food.
You have 20. Wow.
20 minutes until
Okay.
we're supposed to be home.
Okay.
An entire table full of Uzbek food, which again, back to what Alex just said, no one knows anything about this part of the world. It's so good. I mentioned plov in the past.
Mhm.
Oh, homemade Uzbek plov. It's just so good. You don't serve yourself. He dished our plates up for us. And this is one of those cultures where, like,
You eat
if
everything.
you don't eat, you're not being polite.
Why are there so many cultures like that?
So we're like shoveling this down, eating as much as we can. But I mean, the table was just full of food. And he kept telling us to eat more. He's like, you don't want to offend my wife. Like, no, we don't want to offend your wife.
And you've been in the country how long now?
Yeah, a week. Yeah, it was just so much food. A really cool cultural experience to get so early. I think he was a little upset with us.
Because you had to leave?
We had to leave. Yeah, we stayed past 9. We did. Not a whole lot past 9, but it just felt right, I guess.
Yeah.
Better to try to keep some kind of relationship and let him know that as he sees these weird people in suits and tags that we're friendly, good people who want to know him. So it was awesome. So much fun. I just kept yelling at us to eat more food. It's something that they say is like, don't be shy, eat. Like that's literally exactly how they say it in command form, you know, imperative. Somewhere along the same time, again, a week after getting to Russia, since this was the first time missionaries had been in this apartment, we didn't have a lot of the stuff, just the basic things you need to live, you know, stuff for your kitchen. So we went to IKEA.
Nice.
Yeah. Novosibirsk had an IKEA. And
That's crazy. There's a Siberian IKEA.
yeah. I think we each had 2 of the big blue IKEA bags.
Okay.
Like we bought that much stuff to fill the apartment with. I think we take a bus to the metro, then we hop on the metro and ride that to our stop. And our apartment was so dang close to this central stop on the left bank of the river. Like 5-10 minute walk from the metro stop to our apartment. But you got to cross this big square. And in that time, just in those few minutes of trying to walk across the square, a police officer sees us.
Okay.
And for some reason, we looked suspicious to him.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. The bags, obviously, that must have looked weird.
The way you were dressed.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was winter. Oh, this was winter. I got there in February, so like we had our coats on, hats, gloves. We're bundled up like everybody else. Sure, you can see our suit pants, but students go to school in slacks. So, and we didn't stick out that much. But anyway, my companion at the time had been in Russia for, he had 2 months left. So, you know, he's almost been there for 2 years. He was really good with the language. I didn't understand what the cop was saying to us. I could tell he was obviously getting our attention and obviously speaking to us, trying to get us to stop. And my companion didn't even pay attention to him, didn't say a word to him. In English, he turns to me, and in English he says, "Elder, we do not speak Russian. You only understand English. Don't respond to him.
Oh,
Don't say a single thing. Don't follow him. Don't do what he asks you to do." Like, are you kidding me, Elder? I've heard stories about people getting thrown in prison in Russia, like missionaries.
Mom would have.
I
Had a
feel
hard
like
time.
just ignoring him isn't a good way to not let that happen. So we just keep walking. We just ignored him. He keeps following us, keeps talking to us. And it finally got to the point where like he's, you know, standing in front of us, hand gesturing and everything. You'd have to be an absolute idiot to just continue ignoring him. So we started following him. He takes us over to his bus. So they have like short buses, not a full length city bus, but like half the length.
As a cop?
Police buses. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was parked in the square, which was a pedestrian only square. And he walks us up to it. taps on the door. Same accordion style door. It opens up. The guy sitting up there spins around in his chair.
Cool.
Looks right at us. And same thing, he just starts spouting off, talking to us in Russian. My companion says the same thing. Elder, you don't understand him. You don't know what he's saying.
You don't.
We only speak English. It's true. I didn't really understand what they were saying that much anyway.
It's an easy sell.
Yes, yeah, for me it sure was. Yeah, because I can't tell you. I wish I could tell you what he was saying or what he was asking, but I can't. I don't know what info he was wanting from us. So my companion starts responding to him in English. The cop didn't understand English.
Thank goodness.
So after enough back and forth of absolutely no actual communication happening, the one thing I did understand him say, he clasped his hands, shook them at us. He said, "Udachi, rебята." Good luck, guys. And they just let us walk away.
Huh.
It was that simple.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't even remember. I don't think they even looked through maybe they looked through our bags. I don't remember that distinctly, but that would make sense. I don't know why else he stopped us in the first place.
Weird.
Yeah. So I only had 2 quote unquote run-ins with the police. That was the first one. And the second one was like even less significant than that. Okay. The third one I'm going to tell tonight was again within the first couple of weeks in Russia. It was nighttime. Again, February in Siberia is chilly.
Sure.
That's the people say that's when the winds pick up for some reason. So you've already it's in the dead of winter, so it's already cold enough on its own. The Siberian cities, the big ones, sit on large rivers. So it's got decent humidity. And then February comes, you get the winds whipping through. We were out and about trying to find church members' apartments. Again, we were both brand new. We didn't know how to even get around the town, let alone where these addresses were yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we're walking around, just wandering the streets. Sun was down. It was maybe like 5-6 o'clock at night, but it was probably negative 38 or so. Negative 35 Fahrenheit, negative 38 Celsius, something like that. So I mean, it's cold.
Yeah.
And I'm still a dumb American, not knowing what to do in the cold. Anyway, we can't find our ways. We were literally just wandering around trying to find this apartment building because streets are poorly labeled. Apartment buildings are labeled even worse. And once you find the apartment building, you got to figure out which podjezd that apartment is in. So eventually my companion stopped someone, asked them to help us out. And I'll tell you, if you're ever lost in Russia, despite what that one comedian, I don't know if you've heard that comedian, talking about how Russians are the scariest people.
No.
If anyone ever approaches him, like he just puts on a Russian accent. Anyway.
It's just prejudice.
No, it's hilarious. It's so funny. Go down street, turn corner. Like,
yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, and then they never ask me for directions again. In reality, you ask a Russian for directions, and half the time they will walk you there, or like they'll walk you until you see the destination.
Dang,
it's amazing.
That's nice.
Yeah. So, stop this couple on the street, ask them to help us out, find where we're going. Again, I'm not understanding any of this. What's being said. Just all of a sudden I notice this Russian man points at me, like with his mittened hand, he's pointing at me, and then he's pointing at his nose, and he's pointing at me. And my companion looks at me and he just goes, "Oh, Elder, your nose, it's white." Just grab my hands and I cover my face. Like, what do you mean it's white? Cover your nose, dude. Elders, cover your nose. Keep it covered. Do not uncover it. Grab my scarf, shove my scarf up there, put my 2 mittens on, and grab my face. I don't know how close I was to getting frostbite. I mean, I think that's the first step of frostbite, so I think I technically got frostbite, my nose.
Yikes.
I remember Mom freaking out.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. So that's another fun complexity. At the time that we served, the only communication you had with home was one weekly email that you could send home. No phone calls, no video chats.
How long did you get to write that email?
An hour.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Same for me. Yeah.
On good news, they told us where to go. We got there, got out of the cold for a little bit, and then we obviously went. We canceled the rest of our plans after that and went straight home.
What did you do? Did you steam your head?
No. We had some sister missionaries who were native Russians. One of them...
In the same area?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. One of
Was
them...
that, sorry, I just have to
You're
ask.
good.
Most people aren't going to care about this, but was that rare in your mission or normal?
No.
Not rare.
Not rare.
Huh. Weird. Why was that so rare for me in Italy?
It was normally organized... Not normally. Often, for a mid-sized city, you might have like 2 sets of elders with half the city divided, and then a set of sisters who have the entire city. In a large city like Novosibirsk, you have the 2 halves of the city divided by the river. You have the 2 banks.
I do forget that Novosibirsk is an actual city.
Yeah. Yes.
Were there many places in Siberia that you served that weren't?
400,000 was the smallest population we had.
Then that is why it was so rare for me and not for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think most people realize how many people live in Siberia and how large the cities
Well,
are.
it makes sense that in a environment like that you would populate,
Congregate.
and there'd
Yeah.
only be a few places to do so.
Well, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of little villages as well.
Well, sure.
But you just didn't. No missionaries there?
No, no way, not a chance.
No.
Okay, so this Russian sister missionary, she gave me this little vial of oil, and she just told me to rub it on my nose every morning and every night.
Okay.
And so I did for like a week.
What did it smell like?
It wasn't pleasant.
Like an apothecary?
It just felt like normal yellowy oil.
Okay.
But I just don't like being oily, I guess. I don't know.
So, like some old canola oil.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Stupid American. He's going to do it.
Watch this placebo.
I looked like Rudolph for a couple days. Just a bright red nose. Obviously, I still have my nose, so.
Looks fine, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, gee, thanks.
I don't know. If I'm really paying attention, down towards the tip does look a little redder than up by the
That's
bridge.
normal. Yours is too.
See, I don't know if the oil did anything. It probably was just like sunflower oil.
That's
I wouldn't be
hilarious.
surprised. Because, they have lots of sunflower oil. Yeah, Siberia. It's a good place. If you guys get the chance, brothers, go ahead. Go take a trip out to Siberia.
Right now?
I mean, follow your government's
Well,
advice
okay.
on travel advisories, but
Unfortunately.
Obviously, they're not going to have a chance right now. Only in a decade, once Putin is not only dethroned, but also dead.
Whoa.
You heard it here first on Another Brother.
Good ending.
thank you.
Thank you. Dang it, that's what I was going to do. Oh, shoot. Do it. You're going to do it better. Thank you for being our brother. Wow, that might be too energetic, though.
Okay. we'll take another run at it then.
Okay. For being our brother.
The first one was too energetic.
Gotcha.
For show notes, rockin' merch, and other brother goodness, check out our website at anotherbrotherpodcast.com.
Be sure to come back next week. And tell your friends so they too can become a
Brother over here, brother over there.